In this video, we are going to see the book of the genealogy of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. We can see the genealogy of Jesus Christ in book of Matthew. The book of Matthew was written by Matthew, the former tax collector, also called Levi, was qualified to write an account of Jesus' life and teachings. In this chapter, Matthew frequently refers to Jesus as a son of David, and Matthew book presents Jesus as a kingly Messiah promised from David's royal line. We can see it in 2 Samuel 7 verse 12 to 16. In Matthew, the book of the generation of Jesus Christ, we have the first name Abraham. Abraham was a descendant of Noah through his son Shem, and Isaac begat Jacob, and Jacob begat Judas and his brethren. And Judas begat Perez and Sarah of Tamar. Tamar is the wife of Judas. She showed herself as a prostitute to her father-in-law, for Judah to bring forth Perez and Sarah. And Perez begot Esrom, and Esrom begot Aram, and Aram begot Aminadab, and Aminadab begot Nazan, and Nazan begot Salman. And Salman begot Boaz of Rahab. She is a Canaanite woman and prostitute who helped the Israelites conquer Jericho, for whom God took extraordinary measures to save from both judgment and her lifestyle of prostitution. And Boaz begot Obed of Ruth. Ruth is a Moabite immigrant to Judea, a Gentile, and until her conversion out of the covenant of Israel, she married Boaz. Obed, the son of Boaz and Ruth. Obed begot Jesse, and Jesse begot David the king, and David the king begot Solomon of her that had been the wife of Urias. And the following descendants are Rehoboam, Abijah, Asa, Josaphat, Joram, Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, Hezekiah, Manasseh, Ammon, Josiah. Josiah begot Jegonias and his brethren about the time they were carried away to Babylon. And after they were brought to Babylon, Jehonias begot Salathiel, and Salathiel begot Zorobabel. And the following descendants were Abiud, Eliakim, Azur, Zadok, Ahim, Eliud, Eleazar, Matan, Jacob, Joseph, the husband of Mary, and Jesus. So all the generations from Abraham to David are 14 generations, and from David until the carrying away into Babylon are 14 generations, and from the carrying away into Babylon unto Christ are 14 generations. The Bible says about Jehoiakim, we can see it in Jeremiah chapter 36 verse 32-31. Therefore thus saith the Lord of Jehoiakim king of Judah, he shall have none to sit upon the throne of David, and his dead body shall be cast out in the day to the heat, and in the night to the frost. Because of curse, Jehoiakim's name not listed in the genealogy of Jesus Christ. But Uzziah's name was enlisted in the genealogy of Jesus Christ. Uzziah, the king of Judah, who was struck with leprosy for daring to enter the temple as a priest to offer incense. This genealogy, it is noted for the unusual presence of 4 women were rarely mentioned in ancient genealogies, and the 4 mentioned here are worthy of special note as examples of God's grace. They show how God can take unlikely people and use them in great ways. The 4 women were Rahab, Tamar, Ruth, and Bathsheba. Bathsheba was an adulteress, infamous for her sin with David. We can see it in 2 Samuel chapter 11. Matthew's peculiar way of referring to her, Uriah's wife, may be an attempt to focus on the fact that Uriah was not an Israelite but a Hittite. These four women have an important place in the genealogy of Jesus to demonstrate that Jesus Christ was not royalty according to human perception, in the sense that he did not come from a pure aristocratic background. And Jesus identifies with sinners in his genealogy, even as he will in his birth, baptism, life, and his death on the cross. Jesus is heir of line in which flows the blood of the harlot Rahab and of the rustic Ruth. He is akin to the fallen and to the lowly, and he will show his love even to the poorest and most obscure. That there is a new place for women under the new covenant. In both the pagan and the Jewish culture of that day, men often had little regard for women. In that era, some Jewish men prayed every morning thanking God that they were not Gentiles, slaves, or women. Despite that, women were regarded more highly among the Jews than they were among the pagans. When we look at First Timothy 1:4, here Paul writes that people should not waste their time on myths and family trees that lead to meaningless speculation rather than the stewardship from God that is by faith. And also, when we look at Titus chapter 3, verse 9, here Paul tells to avoid four things like foolish controversies, foolish questions, and genealogies. Titus was a Gentile and did not have Jewish lineage. So, one should preach the good news of Christ instead of comparing family histories. So according to Bible, the genealogy is not the important thing for Christian life.